Welcome back to my channel, guys. I think this game was an exceptional game of football. Not that both the sides were extremely good. In moments, they were really crisp, they were really focused, and they were really sharp, right? Marmoush coming up with a massive addition, scored a goal, and Haaland scored a penalty. Again, Adam Wester bringing Marmoush down. Marmoush was excellent with his footwork. We got to see moments in this game, both the sides, again, quite unfortunate with Kusanov, who scored his first own goal for Man City, right? And Estupinan with a wondrous free kick from 25 yards out. That was quite a shot, man. That was one for the takers, right? But let's just start with the first half, right? I think Man City in the first half again had the possession. In totality, they had most of the possession in the game, like Pep is used to playing. But I have a couple of observations, looking at what Pep Guardiola has done with this squad. Some of his acquisitions, again, getting a Gundogan back, giving him a primal midfielder's role, not trusting Kovacic enough, having a Nico Gonzalez in the Jan transfer window who turned out to be an absolutely average player in my opinion, nowhere near the likes of a proper number 6 or someone who is not really getting the opportunity, to play his part of the game, right? I think Pep is quite astute, quite disciplined when it comes to using his midfielders, right? In this game, you saw that Gundogan was getting on the ball, was quite mature with the distribution, to be honest, and he was trying to dictate the play, right? So it was quite difficult in the first 10 minutes of the game for Man City to break Brighton down, right? But there was this one moment where Rico Lewis got on the ball and you had an Estupinan, a Gomez, and a Ruta, right? He drew them in, and then he broke that deadlock. He passed it on to Marmoush, who came a little deeper into that space. And the way Marmoush attacked the space from that moment onwards in the first half was just impressive to watch. The guy is getting on the flanks, is just giving the ball to Savinho, giving the ball to Doku. Again, Doku, their influence is quite evident in the game, right? I mean, they build that attacking momentum, which is necessary for you to create chances. But their end product is abysmal, right? And in fact, I really want to, attribute Doku for not being that selfish, unlike Savinho, who's getting on the ball, who had clear-cut opportunities as well in the first half, but he failed to score. Again, Verbruggen was really solid at the back, and it just wasn't that City were absolutely demolishing. There was no absolute control. But it was also Brighton off the ball who had put in a lot of effort, right? The likes of Baleba, Minte helping Hinshelwood, who was playing in a makeshift position, right? Not his natural position to play as a fullback, but they got the job done. Doku might have beaten Hinshelwood on one or two occasions, but I don't think that he really created any sort of intensity in the final third, right? For Haaland to get on the ball. Marmoush again got an assist from Haaland, I believe. Or was it Gundogan? I think it was Gundogan. And yeah, that was a massive score, right? It was a massive goal from Marmoush. A storer of goal, a crisp finish. This is what we've seen from him in the Bundesliga. But still, yeah, I mean, you can fairly say that Mitoma and Minte did not really have a good outing there. I think Minte found it really hard to get past Guardiola on a couple of occasions, right? And the moment he would actually beat him, I think Diaz was stepping up, right? Again, I've been hearing a lot about Ruben Diaz not being the player that everyone thought that he would be. I think he was a massive addition when Pep acquired him. He's been playing for Pep since that very day, right? And there was a time when he was injured, but I don't see anything different about his game. It's just that maybe he might have regressed a bit, but his long ball contribution was massive. In fact, the very goal that Marmoush had scored came in from his long ball situation, right? And his influence on the pitch again was shadowed because I think Man City like to control the possession, so you don't have to really work a lot defensively. Again, Rico Lewis, someone who I thought was quite decent against Mitoma, right, in this game. Yeah, obviously now Man City's defense is sort of exposed in a way. I think they were quite exposed, and there's no denying that. I think the balls played in from Minte, and Mitoma scored a disallowed goal That was a brilliant finish, to be honest, attacking the keeper and trying to make contact with him. Again, keepers are well protected in the league, so obviously that goal was disallowed. But I wouldn't deny they had their moments. Brighton had their moments. In fact, the first half, they didn't really look that sharp. Second half, you saw a Joao Pedro not being that lazy, unlike the first, wanting to get on the ball, wanting to change the situation for Brighton, right? And a Rooter, right? A Rooter and Baleba, I think they stepped their game up a lot. The thing with Hurzeler is that he has a tendency of being a little passive at times, not that Brighton don't press, they do. But in phases, you see a Baleba when he needs to step up, right? You wouldn't really see him contesting in many aerial duels, right? Because the system that he plays in, right, he'll attempt to tackle or two. He'll get on the ball, he'll take a turn, he'll beat the press, and he'll drive and glide past the opposition, right? There were moments on the pitch where I felt Baleba was not missing, but again, Man City's driving the tempo through the flanks. So something can be done for Baleba to actually be an intricate part of the defensive regime in that manner. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a baller. I just feel sometimes he's not really utilizing the best of his attributes on the pitch, right? For Gomez, I think first half was quite decent. Second half, this guy stepped up with massive turnovers, interceptions, and even attacking the final third, right? The attacking third. And the most impressive part about his game is that he reads the opposition quite well, right? In a 1v1 situation, even in the middle third, he will try and press onto you, right? His level of intensity is exceptionally good. Adam Webster, a player who's mature, defensively really good. And in fact, I felt Brighton, no matter how devastating it was to watch Doku and Savino get on the ball and run the tempo, I still felt Brighton were quite good with their defending on their day, right? And not, it was a very above average performance for both the teams. Again, I think this is a heavier loss for Pep. I think Hurzeler has done a good job away from home coming to the Etihad. But yeah, man, when you have players like Savino not stepping up in the second half, you have a Guardiola who missed past a lot in the second half after playing the first 45. When your team is actually getting pinned down till the 66th minute mark, they only had one shot on target. In the second half, Man City had one shot in 21 minutes, and that's not the Man City that you're used to watching, right? Brighton, again, not a team that is going to be undermined, but players like Savino, Gonzalez, Nico, and Guardiola, they just drop the momentum some at times. And it's not just them. I think Man City are, in totality, the vibes travel when one player is actually not really living up to the expectation. I think the team momentum drops, right? And it's just how it is. This is how football works, right? So I think Pep still needs to work on acquiring a couple of players, which is why I really think that Pep Guardiola, if he's not really able to hit or punch those levels like he has season on season, I think he might just leave the club, right? Sometimes some managers run out of ideas, right? And it's actually not a sad situation. I mean, he's done a lot for the club. He's gotten them the Champions League, won them consecutive Premier League titles, which one can only dream of. But still, in totality, this game, they looked really average, and they could have actually stepped their mark. They could have stepped their game a lot by what they actually exhibited in the second half, missing on a couple of crucial opportunities as well. Kusanov is again another mature defender. I feel he's really young, but he's really mature on the ball. Barring his first outing, quite unlucky with the own goal that he scored, which was Brighton's second. Estupinan with a brilliant 35-yard finish. There were moments in the game, and there were moments where we saw off-the-ball ethic from Brighton's midfield, and no one really owned the middle third, in my opinion. Nowadays, games have actually gone and they've blown out of proportion, where midfielders in this season specifically have struggled in maintaining that consistency, right? And it's all also because of injuries, it's also because of the run of form, the state of play. But in totality, let me know, what do you feel about the game? Your comments would be appreciated, and please do not forget to subscribe to the channel.